Hey guys, it's Crazy Boy on here, and you might be confused as to why I'm recording a review and just sitting in my chair and how I switched around the camera. I'll get into the exact reasonings in a little bit, but basically I decided to have a unscripted review for this particular book. I'm going to be reviewing All's Fair in Middle School, as I said in my last video. But I decided to sit down for this review because it's unscripted and it's not going to be a very professional review, so I thought, I might as well not look professional. So, not that my original setup looked professional, but you know what I mean. So first, as usual, let's get into the plot of this book, which is the only part that I actually scripted. So All's Fair in Middle School is about a girl named Imogene who is going into middle school, 6th grade to be specific, after being homeschooled pretty much her entire life, and she's doing this because she wants to prove herself. She wants to prove herself because she actually wants to become a knight in the Renaissance Fair that her and her family work at. Unfortunately, she's not allowed to be a knight yet, so they actually tell her that she has to be a squirry, which is the knight's assistant. So yeah, like I said, that's the only part of the review that I scripted. The rest of this video is going to be kind of a rant, and just from that word alone, I think you guys can probably tell what I think of this book just from my tone, but, I decided to have this the rest of this review be unscripted because I really don't know how to put into exact words how I feel about this book. So I'm just going to talk off the top of my head and just I might be like jumping around at points and going into different things all the time. So yeah, as you can probably tell from the tone, I did not like this book. There are a few things I liked, but other than that, I really don't think it's a good book. And I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion because I actually, I haven't looked at any reviews of this book. I haven't looked at like scores or anything. I'm assuming it got praise because, it's pretty popular and, it's Victoria Jaimeson. So yeah, as many of you know, I didn't like I did like Roller Girl, but I did have a few not really specific problems about the book, but I didn't think the book was anything great, and I didn't think it deserved all the praise and all the awards that it got, and for this book, I really don't get the praise that this book got either, because there is praise on the back of the book, so that, it did get praise, but I still haven't watched any reviews. So again, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I really didn't like this book. Honestly, I damn near hated it. And my main problem with the book was that I found that the Renaissance Fair stuff was very bland and overall, the book in general was pretty bland, but it wasn't as bland as Roller Girl, because Roller Girl actually had some creative elements in it, whereas this book kind of is just like, it's just your basic graphic novel, except that the Renaissance Fair stuff in particular, I found to be very uninteresting. They are putting on these acts and, which is, what you do at a Renaissance Fair, but I just found it to be very uninteresting, and that is probably about the first 150 pages or so of the book, is her starting middle school and doing Renaissance Fair stuff, and the Renaissance Fair stuff was boring, and the middle school stuff was just kind of bland and your typical middle school stuff with her getting picked on and stuff like that. So you might be asking, what made me hate this book? Because at first, after I read the first 150 pages, I actually took a break after that. I was like, this book is really uninteresting. I'm going to take a break, and then I plan to read more of it the next day. And that's what I did. And just the first 150 pages, I assumed that I was going to give it around a 5 out of 10. I assumed it would be about a 5 out of 10 from what I read so far. And because 5 out of 10 I usually give to books that are bland and boring, but don't really have any particular specific problems about the book. But after my break and when I read it the next day, it got even worse because the last 150 pages is extremely bad. It's pretty bad. I mean, it tries to have a message behind it near the end, and I'll get to that, but overall my main problem is that almost every single character in this book turns into a huge asshole. I mean, it gets to the point where I genuinely got really mad during specific moments in this book when basically everyone is treating Imogene like shit. And I'm not saying she didn't do anything bad because, their main reasonings for Imogene, being mean, as they put it, is because she drew she made some mean drawings about her classmates, who, by the way, were picking on her before she drew those pictures. And they the book makes you believe, well, it tries to make you believe, at least, that Imogene is in the wrong, the main character. And it really didn't work for me because I thought, at least for me, everything that she did in this book was justified. At least I thought so. Her drawing all those pictures of her classmates and making them look mean and stuff and basically making fun of them, I thought that was justified. I didn't think she didn't show them to anyone. That was her plan. She wasn't going to show them to anyone, well, except for the people who were around her while she was drawing them, because people were requesting that she drew these people. Keep in mind that this wasn't her idea. People were asking her to draw mean pictures of all the classmates, okay? So she eventually gets in trouble at this from the principal, and that's the moment of the book that really pissed me off, because when Imogene's parents come in and they talk to the principal, they're like, oh, there seems to be some bullying going around, and it's like, oh, well, we understand that Imogene's being bullied, and then the principal says, oh, no, you don't understand. It's your daughter who's doing the bullying. And I'm just like, what? That is this Okay, now keep in mind, I know this happens in real life. I know that sometimes principals or teachers at school will pin the blame on someone who wasn't actually the cause of it. And, I get that happens. But, this is a book of fiction, or at least, most of it is. I assume some of it was based on Victoria Jaimeson's childhood or something, because I think she did do Renaissance Fair stuff, but anyway. So I guess they were trying to make it real, or Victoria Jaimeson rather, was trying to make it realistic, but honestly, I didn't really like it. I was really pissed off, and it seemed like everybody else was just blaming Imogene for all these small little mistakes that she did throughout the book, like drawing the mean pictures. She has a little brother. I completely forgot. I think his name is Felix. I had to think about that. But Felix has this little doll thingy that he calls Tiffany, and Imogene, feeling all the frustration, as expected from everyone, basically treating her like garbage, she throws Tiffany in the lake, and this, of course, and Tiffany is missing now, and Felix just freaks out, and, oh, sorry, that was me getting angry. No, it wasn't, but Felix, of course, freaks out, and basically for the next, few days or something, he completely ignores Imogene and just kind of, treats her the same as everybody else. And by the way, like again, like almost all the characters in this book are unlikable. They all are putting all the blame on Imogene, even though they don't even understand that Imogene is not the not like I said, it's justified. You know, throwing Tiffany in the lake was out of frustration because of all that was happening to her. You know, I think she at one point in the book she starts to get frustrated with her classmates and actually stands up to her bully. And I think they try to turn it around on her, and it's like, so like again, a lot of she gets frustrated, as anyone would in that particular situation, and that's why I feel that a lot of the stuff she did was justified. And her science teacher is awful, is a huge asshole. You know, her parents are douches, and all the kids at school are rude to her. I'm not kidding. Almost all the kids. I think there's like one kid who she actually had a crush on that was not a complete asshole. I wouldn't say he was likable, but he wasn't like the other kids. And honestly, the only character in this book that I found to be likable was Imogene. And she's still not like, I wouldn't consider her like a great, fantastic character. She's not as good as Roller Girl's main character. I already forgot her name. I forgot her name, but you know, she's not as unlikable as the main character of Roller Girl. Those are my problems with this book. You might be wondering, what did I like about this book? There was about maybe 2 or 3 things. I don't know. One is, of course, the art. I think the art is great. Just like Roller Girl, you know, Victoria Jaimeson. I like her. I think it can be really beautiful. It's like some of the pages, particularly the last page in this book, it has really good art. So that's good. And they try to throw in a message at the end of the book that you should treat everyone with respect, no matter if you hate them or not. And that's a good message, but again, do you think I give a shit? When I'm reading like just this book that pissed me off and made me just hate every character, do you think I care about some message that you're now gonna give me? Like, I guess that's what they were trying. Sorry, I keep on saying I should refer to Victoria Jaimeson, the author. I guess that's what Victoria Jaimeson was trying to do, was she was trying to make the characters seem mean and make you feel sympathy for Imogene, and which I felt sympathy, but that's kind of how the message is that's how she wanted to do the message, I think, is that these characters are supposed to be unlikable so that the message can work. You know, you treat everyone with respect, no matter how rude they are to you. And, you know, again, good message. I don't care, though. When I'm reading a bad book and then all of a sudden it has this good message at the end, I'm not going to care, because it doesn't matter. If you have a good book and you have a good message, then that message is going to be stronger. If you have a bad book and you have just some message that you throw in at the end, I'm not saying that she literally threw this in at last minute just to, you know. I can tell that Victoria Jaimeson did try with the message in this book and what she was trying to do. But again, it didn't work for me. This is one of the few graphic novels to actually make me mad at points. I mean, I get mad at graphic novels for having unlikable characters, but that's mainly because the characters are, you know, they're bully type characters. They're supposed to be unlikable because you're supposed to feel sympathy for the main character. And again, to an extent, that does work in this book. You feel sympathy for the main character, but why does every single character have to be an ass? You couldn't just have like a few kids at school be mean to her, or like some kid at the Renaissance Fair be mean to her. No, every single character has to put a blame on Imogene and basically blame her for everything. So yeah, that's what I thought about this book. The only things I like, again, the art and the message, but the message I don't care about because the book was shit. So I was originally going to give this a 5 out of 10, but I decided to give it a 3 out of 10. So yeah, All's Fair in Middle School gets a well-deserved 3 out of 10 for me. This might be an unpopular opinion, like I said. This was actually going to be a 4 out of 10 initially, because, like I said, the first 150 pages, 5 out of 10. You know, average, bland graphic novel. And then as it went on, it was like, actually, I remember the moment that I gave it a 4 out of 10 was when the principal put the blame on Imogen for bullying the other kids. That was like, that single moment was what made it go from a 5 to a 4. But then everything after that, with the characters still being unlikable till the very end of the book, that was like, you know what, no. I'm going to give it an even lower score, a 3 out of 10. So there, that's, you know, this book sucks. I would not recommend it at all. If you like Victoria Jaimeson's first graphic novel, Roller Girl, if you really liked that book, maybe give this a shot. I don't know. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying all people will hate this, but I certainly wouldn't recommend it to a friend or anything like that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought about it. I don't know if I'll do rants about books in the future like this, but this is just an exception because I just couldn't put into words in a script how I felt about this. My next video is going to be a review of The Babysitter's Club 8. Comes out September 1st. I did pre-order it, and it should come on September 1st. Please come on September 1st, for God's sakes. See you guys in the next video. Have yourselves a good night.